Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I feel like I'm going crazy. I think Nintendo have sent people out to watch me, but I'm trying to answer this question that I've been pondering for years, and I'm sure mankind's greatest minds and philosophers will be questioning it for centuries to come. But are Amiibo cool? Join me in this video as we untangle the enigma that is Amiibo, or die trying. To decipher this complex entanglement of cool and Amiibo, we must first understand what both of these words actually mean.
So what is an Amiibo? The short answer is in 2014, Nintendo launched a line of figures alongside Smash Bros for Wii U. These figures have an NFC tag built into their base. NFC is an acronym for Near Field Communication, using a low-powered radio frequency to transmit data between the tag and the reader, meaning these figures can have data written and read by a game when being physically placed on the reader built into the Nintendo console. Or if you didn't upgrade to the new Nintendo 3DS, there was an external reader for the older ones. In the example of the Super Smash Bros. Series, the game would read which fighter the Amiibo represented and place them into the game. They would then learn your fighting techniques as you fight against or alongside them, and eventually become smart enough to give you a good run for your money, or even beat you. It's worth noting that Amiibo aren't just figures anymore, and include cards and even soft toys, all part of the process for NFC becoming more widely used by the general public. Have you seen, even bus stops now have NFC tags on them, where you can tap your phone and get the bus timetables.
But the biggest impact NFC has had on our lives is it's now how most of us pay. It's the technology behind Apple and Android Pay, meaning I have a spare pocket for an Amiibo, as I don't have to carry a wallet. But what is cool? This question is so much more abstract, so last week I went and asked the public for their thoughts and feelings on the word. And that's when this whole thing started. So here I am in the heart of this undisclosed city, where I'm going to be asking the people what the word cool means to them. Hi, does anybody here want to be in my YouTube video? Hi, anybody? Would you like to be in my YouTube video? Guys, anybody? Seriously? Does anyone want to be in my YouTube video? Does anybody, guys, can anybody be in this video? Seriously, does nobody want to be in my YouTube video? Idiot. Nobody wants to speak to me. This video is going to get 0 views.
Sarge?
If you want to be an Amiibo enforcer, you need to be here on time.
Sorry, won't happen again.
Well, I hope you're ready to start brainwashing people to buy the new Amiibo.
You've had a £100 one before. It's going to be a tough sell.
I got my heart on someone.
You're right. Perfect. A real loser. I've got this one.
Hi, sorry, can I ask you a quick question for my YouTube channel? What does the word cool mean to you?
I'd say an interactive figure or card that works with compatible games to uncover surprising new features, such as modes, weapons, useful items, maybe even character customization. Heck, maybe even turn into a handy helper for a formidable foe. Oh wait, that's Amiibo.
Yeah, I really do like Amiibo. I just guess I never thought them as cool.
You know what's cooler than an Amiibo? A £100 Amiibo.
And a £100 Amiibo?
That's right, £100 Amiibo.
Who is it?
It's £100. What more do you need to know?
It could give me in-game items.
It could.
I could dress as Mario in Zelda.
Maybe.
It's probably 5 characters in one.
Well,
This could be perfect.
and to guarantee yours, all you have to do is sign here with your card details to pre-order.
That's gonna be so cool. I can't wait to get it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Candy from a baby.
So yeah, that's how I ended up here, trying to make a YouTube video about the word cool, but instead, that salesman has gone inside of my head and Amiibo are all I can think about, sending me down this investigative route, trying to figure out if spending £100 on something that I'm not even sure is cool is actually worth it. After my encounter with him, I went to the library to learn more about the word cool, and I learned that for millennia it has meant to make something less hot, but since the 1930s, the word has evolved into so much more than that.
Sticking around and being relevant for longer and becoming more impactful than words of a similar king, such as groovy, awesome, or sweet, and even most recently epic, transcending race, religion, and class, it is the ultimate word for giving the socially accepted seal of approval and to give something the satisfaction it is genuinely liked and favoured by the masses.
Nintendo themselves have had an interesting struggle with being cool, as their products are often seen as kids' toys and their games underpowered. But now, with the Switch selling so well, and as nerdy pastimes and things from our youth become the adult culture, I feel like Nintendo has a bit more of a cool vibe about them.
After the success of the Wii, Nintendo had a bit of a moment where they pioneered this new motion technology science, giving them an opportunity to bask in the light of cool. But this certainly didn't last long, as motion quickly turned into a lame gaming fad. Now, with the Switch, people are back to thinking Nintendo are cool. This is definitely helped by the wide variety of games found on the system, but also its sleek and ergonomic design and making gaming more accessible in a young adult's hectic life. Let's just cross our fingers and hope the next console doesn't chuck away all the good favour the Switch has built up.
Anyway, that's for a different video. If you want to see a deep dive into the history of Nintendo and cool, let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. But for now, let's get into the history of Amiibo. This story all starts with a failed business deal. Skylanders revolutionised the kids gaming market, and when the dust settled, this franchise had amassed over $3 billion in sales.
Skylanders pioneered the concept of NFC figures that interact with games. Originally, 32 Skylanders launched with the first game, each having its own backstory, lore, and unique abilities. Placing a figure on the portal granted players the ability to control it, earn levels, in-game currency, and all of this was saved directly to the figure itself. Interestingly, Nintendo was reportedly offered exclusivity for at least the first game, but turned it down as they were not willing to provide financial assistance. Undoubtedly, designing 32 distinct playable characters was a significant overhead cost. Not to mention, of course, the physical creation of all the accompanying toys. However, for the team behind Skylanders, Toys for Bob, it was a calculated gamble that paid off. Considering the market conditions in 2011, people were already purchasing substantial amounts of DLC at the time, with what felt like every game offering a year's worth of map packs or extra story content. And that's basically what these NFC figures are. Glorified DLC. But what gives these figures an edge over digital DLC is the desire for collectible items and quirky trinkets. In 2011, this industry was about to experience a financial boom. Just a year prior, Funko released their first line of collectible figures, forever changing the landscape of people's bookshelves. And I hate to admit it, but I got caught up in it all, and I loved Skylanders with all its gimmicks.
Nintendo must have been kicking themselves. The success of the first Skylanders game led to 5 sequels, mobile spin-offs, and a Netflix TV show. Nintendo could have had a piece of the pie, but missed out.
Oh, he got hosed.
The NFC Toys Life craze went wild, with Disney and Warner Brothers joining on the bandwagon. From 2011 to 2016, this fad was burning a hole in gamer parents' wallets across the world.
After the market had been successfully scouted out by the competition, Nintendo finally decided it was their time to make a splash in the Toys to Life stratosphere. But of course, they wouldn't just be doing it normally. This is Nintendo, isn't it? With the release of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, the new line of Toy to Life figures, Amiibo, came with it, and the first wave was formed of arguably the 12 most popular characters from the game, with the promise that all fighters will eventually be released as a figure. And now, even in 2023, this promise is still being carried out, as all characters released in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and through DLC have been getting a figure. Pyra and Mythra will be releasing in July 2023, leaving only Sora to be left out of getting an Amiibo, but surely he'll be getting one. Or, as Disney owns his right, are they really going to be that pedantic and stop Nintendo from creating an Amiibo of him, meaning that Sora will be the only fighter out of 82 to not be getting an Amiibo?
Now, I said about how Nintendo like to do things a little differently, and their big promise with Amiibo is that they wouldn't just work in one game or series, but instead across multiple.
Around the release of Amiibo, Mario Kart 8 was updated to be compatible with Amiibo. Not the most exciting use for Amiibo, but they would be used to unlock a race suit for your Mii that would correlate with the scanned character. A lot of Amiibo compatible games had implementation like this. And you know what? In the early days, it did seem pretty cool. There's nothing nicer than a reasonably priced, high quality collectible that not only looks good on your shelf, but can also unlock and add things based on your favourite character in your favourite games. It's also horrible to admit, but that dopamine rush when you open a new toy and relive part of your youth, yeah, it's kind of addictive. And am I weird, or does anybody else love the smell of new plastic?
So it's all sounding pretty great and cool right now, but here's a spoiler, as positivity won't stay through the whole of this video. But for now, for the purpose of telling a good story, let's just look at the success of Amiibo and how it saved Nintendo from complete disaster during the lifespan of the Wii U.
As when Amiibo released, Nintendo earned over $1 billion in revenue. The year before, Nintendo lost $193 million in profits. But in 2015, with a new toy line on the market, it brought them in a cool $303 million in profits. Amiibo became the hot topic, with almost every Nintendo published game having some form of compatibility in the latter end of the 3DS and the Wii U's lifespan, even transcending the Wii U and 3DS and becoming part of the Switch's ecosystem, though instead of every game they release, it saved more for the Switch's bigger releases, and the amount of Amiibo produced has significantly slowed down in recent years.
For example, in 2017, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild launched alongside 5 Amiibo, and then when the DLC came out, a further 4 got added to the set, whereas The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in 2023 launched alongside only this Amiibo.
Not even a short-haired version of Zelda. I presume this is because Nintendo are trying to make Amiibo seem a little more of a premium sought-after product now, as they have aged up their marketing and the Toys to Life fad has come to an end.
Let's continue looking at the history of Amiibo by checking out some of the most influential games with Amiibo functionality and have a look if that implementation was cool or lame. So of course, Smash Bros. Bringing the fighter into the game and they learn with you as you play with them. Now that's pretty cool. In Mario Maker, when tapping one of the over 50 compatible Amiibos, you could get an 8-bit version of that character. You could play as Pac-Man. That's pretty cool. Splatoon was a big game for the Wii U, and Amiibo allowed you to unlock costumes for your Inkling, and you could save outfits to them as well. First print copies of Pokken Tournament came with a Shadow Mewtwo Amiibo card, and tapping that would unlock him in the game. That's strange keeping that behind an Amiibo unlock. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess used the Wolf Link Amiibo to unlock a whole new dungeon where you solely play as Wolf Link. That's pretty... Wait, that should have been available to everybody. That's not that cool. Samus Returns on the 3DS used Amiibo to unlock energy and missile tanks. That's just cheat codes. Even Skyrim used Amiibo to unlock a Link costume. That should have been available to everybody on the Switch version. Breath of the Wild, Mario's Odyssey, Tears of the Kingdom, even the biggest and best of Nintendo's releases just uses Amiibo for gimmicky unlocks, pseudo cheat codes, and stuff that should have been available to everybody. Urgh, Skyward Sword HD, what have you done? Using an Amiibo to unlock fast travel? That's an ease of life feature. It should be available to everybody in a remake. This isn't cool. So far, I have been pretty positive about Amiibo, and on paper, I do think they are pretty cool. But nothing is ever just that black and white now, is it?
As you can tell from my minor breakdown previously, the compatibility with games wasn't all that great. Amiibo, unfortunately, was shoehorned into any game that wasn't Smash Bros., causing them to be used as a substitute for cheat codes or incredibly overpriced DLC, and we're all suckers for it. Yeah, okay, fine, I'll pay over the odds just to look like Link from Ocarina of Time whilst I play Tears of the Kingdom. For a couple of years, I was holding out for a Skylanders-style adventure game, think Super Smash Bros., but a level-based dungeon crawler, bringing together Nintendo's most iconic fighters. I knew this was never going to happen, it was too similar to Skylanders, but something that brought all the Amiibo together in one awesome game would have been brilliant. The closest thing we got to a fully fledged Amiibo game
was instead this monstrosity, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. It's a dumpster fire, highlighting Nintendo at its very worst.
And it almost cost me my relationship.
Luce, don't worry, I haven't gone about date night. I bought this new game and you are gonna love it. Do you want to play as Isabel or Digby?
Oh, thank God you haven't forgotten about date night again. I guess I'll play as Digby, if I have to.
Move out the way, Steam Deck. Time to play some real games. Ready? Here's Digby.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Oh, it's a bit annoying you have to keep tapping the Amiibo, isn't it? No mini games, it's been on 45 minutes.
Yeah, sorry.
You got 4,000, I got 80! What? Right, I've had enough. Honestly, Sol, every second playing that game, I was closer and closer to breaking up with you because no one else in this world will make me play something that boring and that...
Crikey, she was pretty harsh, wasn't she? Anyway, have you seen my Ivy? It's not doing too well. In the comments, can you let me know a way to save it?
So yeah, that's Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. More of a board game than a video game, where players aimlessly and slowly make their way around an uninspired board, with little to no input and luck being the only determinating factor for winning. This being the big Amiibo game really put a whole dampener on the Amiibo craze. Store shelves became flooded with Animal Crossing Amiibo. There was 16 different animal figures made for this game, and more often than not, I would see these over any other type of Amiibo. And the worst thing is, they didn't do anything to spice up the gameplay, only changing the tedious story events seen through playing the board game. In the game, there's a few other modes and mini-games, but the less said about those, the better. Nintendo also went all in selling loads of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. To this day, I do not understand why Nintendo chose to go so hard for Animal Crossing Amiibo over any other franchise. so the game's Amiibo features lack quality and or substance, and unfortunately, so did the first wave. Look at my Link, what is this massive piss stick supporting him? Thankfully, this isn't so much of a problem now, as quality has certainly improved. Just look at this Guardian that released in 2017, he's got opposable arms. And even look at 2023's Tears of the Kingdom Link compared to the Smash Bros Link, there's a real jump in quality. While Smash Bros for Wii U was in development, the idea for Amiibo was thought of midway through production, and for synergy, Nintendo wanted the Amiibo to match the poses of the profile art. Even with this in mind, I don't know what made them choose that colour to support Link. After Nintendo realised that these things weren't just going to end up spending their lives on store shelves until making their way to the bargain bucket, money was put into them, and the quality has definitely seen a big jump, and I am now proud to have them on display.
Though maybe it would have actually been better for everybody if Amiibo did spend more time on store shelves.
The availability of these sought after items proved to be a challenge for both the US and the UK. From my own personal experience, I often noticed that Mario and Link were readily available during the initial release, while any of the more B-listers like Samus and Kirby were more difficult to come by. In fact, my Kirby was a second-hand purchase. Look at the scuff that's on the back of him. I can't help but wonder what he must have been through, so I had to save this poor little guy. If I ever found out who was responsible, I would certainly give them a piece of my mind. But soon after, even Link and Mario became a rare oddity. At my local game shop, the Amiibo nobody wanted was the only one to be seen, Wii Fit Trainer. According to Nintendo, the UK struggled with maintaining stock due to issues in the European supply depot. And as for the US, they attributed the scarcity to a labour dispute on the West Coast. Frankly, this sounds like a flimsy excuse to me.
They bought it.
Now this is purely speculative, but planned scarcity is nothing new. In the wild west of late-stage capitalism, by creating the illusion of popularity and exclusivity, companies can generate buzz and increase the perceived value of products. This in turn drives impulse buying and pre-orders, and I must admit, it works like a charm. After Nintendo Life posted this PSA saying about how all Legend of Zelda Amiibo were back in stock, these elusive Amiibo magically arrived at my doorstep without me even consciously deciding to purchase them. For a beautiful but brief time in the latter end of 2015, Amiibo seemed to be pretty easy to come by, but unfortunately, the situation has only worsened over time. I have missed out on acquiring many of the modern Amiibo because I've waited too long to place my pre-order. Oh, how I regret not buying the Metroid Dread, Samus and Emmy.
The Zelda and Lothwing Amiibo almost enticed me into an impulse buy, but I don't really need it. It's not that cool a figure. Who am I lying to? When that one comes back into stock, I'm definitely going to have to buy it.
You see, Amiibo are now marketed towards the more hardcore Nintendo fans. If there's even a hint that these Amiibo will become scarce, we feel compelled to snatch them up immediately.
You can tell I love Nintendo by my ability to buy merchandise.
Gone are the days where you would expect to see an overabundance of Amiibo waiting on store shelves for a nagging kid to persuade a parent to buy. I think this shift in marketing is why Amiibo has carried on, whilst all other types of toys to life are bygone relics of a simpler time. The amount of Amiibo manufactured with each new release has greatly reduced, ensuring they always sell out pretty fast, and it now creates a world where instead of an Amiibo for all, it's now first come, first serve.
Though I don't believe we can put all the blame on Nintendo. Instead, we've got to point the finger at some of the worst kinds of people, scalpers, buying as many Amiibo as they can get their sweaty hands on and selling them on for a fat profit.
Scalpers have been ruining everything, and I don't know how they keep getting away with it. But then I think we are Nintendo nerds. We pay it and let it happen.
Not long after pre-orders went live for Link from Tears of the Kingdom did he sell out. None of the major retailers had him, but my girlfriend somehow managed to track him down and find him on a website where the recommended retail price was £32. But don't worry, they were saving you a tenner and selling him for £22. What a bargain. But it was also a lie. The actual Nintendo UK store was selling him for £12.99, meaning this site was making a £10 profit off you. What is going on here? Are they just a fancy scalper? This is why we can't have things. This is not cool. But I can't be all too mad, because he did arrive the next day.
Yes, I know, I still bought it from the site, what a sin. This problem isn't just isolated to Amiibo, it's tickets, PS5s, iPhones, anything with this fabricated scarcity gets scalpers going. It's ruining a lot of things for people and exploiting a lot of money out of us, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to be fixed.
The Great British Amiibo Heist. Slight tangent, but it's a good story. Picture me, 28th of May 2015. I walked to my local game retailer to pick up my copy of Splatoon. collector's edition of course.
Meaning it came with the game and a green squid amiibo. This guy, but they straight up tell me it has been robbed. The van delivering the collector's editions to the UK retailer Game had gone missing. Some criminals must have had an inside man or hijacked a van full of Wii U special editions. This just shows how much a big deal Amiibo were in 2015. For a while, I was expecting some black market Amiibo to show up, but they never seemed to. Instead, when I was working in the same shop the Christmas after, they had a shipment come in with these little guys in there, seeming legit. So yeah, I bought one for closure's sake, but will we ever get to the bottom of this great heist?
Yeah, so if I'm moaning about how much of a headache these things can be, why do I have so many of them? Well, I guess they look cool. I'm gonna need some clarification. Back to asking the public. So I've spent all day waiting outside this undisclosed supermarket and still nobody wants to talk to me about Amiibo.
The next day.
Sarge,
You're early this time.
told you it wouldn't happen again.
You know that guy you sold the £100 Amiibo to the other week?
Redhead.
That's the one. He's been asking the kind of questions you shouldn't. And now I need you to find him.
Well, it's a good thing you ordered home delivery.
Wow, what a rollercoaster of emotions we've been on in this video. Fundamentally, these—
Down on the ground!
What were you going to say about Amiibo?
Honestly, nothing. I don't know what you're on about. Honestly, nothing. But I really do appreciate you taking your shoes off in my house.
Tie him up and switch his lights out.
Think what just happened. We have to go and save him. There!
Where am I?
Looks like he's awake.
Now, once more, what were you going to say about Amiibo?
I said Amiibo may be far from cool. A not so unique idea stolen after a missed business opportunity, causing the games that use them to strip away features that should be in the base game, whilst also locking away collectibles to give the Amiibo a sense of purpose that feeds into the notion that they are a premium collectible, capitalising on the fear of missing out, causing fans to hand over hard-earned money to scalpers, all for a bit of plastic that will gain dust on a shelf.
He doesn't want to save Miracle. He doesn't like Amiibo. We should not bother saving him.
But heck, I don't half love him.
Wait, Link. Did you hear that? We have to go back for him.
There's something about going in a room filled with characters you spent hundreds of hours adventuring with that just makes it feel cozy. They may have crappy in-game functionality and just be chunks of plastic, but I don't care. They represent so much more than that. Wow, that was really the cringiest stuff ever. I'll see you guys at home.
What? Are you serious? It took us like a day to make it here. This is the thanks we get. There!
Seriously guys, I cannot thank you enough for getting to the end of this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. But can we all give a collective, massive round of applause for Lucy, Liam and Jason, who all acted their hearts out in this video. Even though none of them necessarily wanted to do it, they still gave it their all. Apart from Liam, I think he really enjoyed being part of it. I'm so happy with the success of my last video, the Legend of Zelda tier list, and the comments you guys left were a pleasure to read. The Heretics even going as far as to say it was the best Legend of Zelda tier list they have seen on YouTube, and Sir saying it was a wonderful piece of cinema. You guys have been so supportive, so I cannot thank you enough. If you haven't seen the video, go and check it out, it would mean the world. But for now, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.